Hi, I'm with Rick Upton, who is running for councillor in Ward 4. Rick, welcome to Bullet Point News.
Thank you, Queenie. I really appreciate this opportunity to explain to the residents what I'm all about.
Great. So, Rick, what are the qualities that would make you a successful councillor?
Well, I guess at the beginning, a good education to start with. I have a business background. I worked corporate for most of my life. I don't know if people remember Zellers. I worked for them for many years as a store manager and then as a senior buyer. I own my own business for 20 years, so I can appreciate what small businesses are going through. I feel I'm a good communicator. Um, I know I have, for a silly example, but my town phone, anybody calls it, is forwarded to my cell. I answer it from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and then 8:01 I don't answer it anymore. I only think it's fair. And whenever I have any concerns or questions or problems from the residents, I try to put myself in their shoes. Is that I know government, municipal government also as well, can be very frustrating when you're trying to get something done or some answers. So I try to put myself in their position and solve the problem or do as much as I can for them.
If you were re-elected, how would you be accessible and transparent to your constituents?
Um, well, as I said, all my correspondence and the town office is forwarded to my cell phone. So anytime they want to get a hold of me, it's always there unless I'm in a meeting, and then I do call them back. Um, I think that the residents, it's important for us never to forget the residents own the town. Everything we do is for them. It's not a dictatorship. It's not my opinion or my wants or my desires. It's theirs. So anytime that there is a concern that is controversial, I try to talk to them as much as possible. I know that for any development we have in town, we have public meetings, and I have actually had, in some cases, 3 public meetings, so that we make sure that everybody's involved and has had their say. Uh, I've even had I have town hall meetings, and I've even had one during COVID because it was such a controversial topic, and people were so upset that we rented some space and spread everybody out and sprayed their hands and everything and had a public meeting because to me, transparency and listening to the residents is what it's all about.
What issues concern you the most and why, and what are you going to do about them?
Issues in town. I think that first of all, taxes are a concern. Our town is, you know, in the country close to the city. We're far away from anything, from any 400 highways. It's very hard to get commercial business here. So 90% of the taxes are paid by the residents. We have to get that down to 75% at least, and that's one of the goals. And with that being said, we're still the 6th lowest tax rate ETA, probably including 34 towns and cities. So we're quite pleased with that. Um, Speeding, when I go door to door, 80% of people bring up speeding. I have a few people that say, I love Stouffville. I have no problems. Thanks for dropping by. And then I say, how about speeding? Oh, speeding. Yes, we got to do something about speeding. So it's a real concern. I've been working with the YPR, the police, the local police, because obviously they're the ones that control that. And I have family from Quebec, and I was down there. I saw that they use a lot of, they call them delineators, which is the poles in the road. I went to the director, showed him pictures. He ordered some. We tried it in Ward 4, my ward, as a test 1 year, and it worked so well, we have them all over town. And right now, 3-4 weeks ago, I installed speed humps. And some municipalities may not think that's a big deal, but it's the first time that Stouffville has ever had a speed hump in town. For some reason, but the other councillors are quite against it. So I'm quite pleased with that accomplishment to try and control the speeding. And the results look great. And if everything goes well, next year we'll have them all over town. So the next issue would probably be the population growth. I mean, we have exploded here. In the last 20 years, we've gone from, I got here 20 years ago, we were at 21,000, we're now at 55,000. So that's quite an explosion. And people are concerned about the growth. So we have to control the growth. We can't stop it, but we can make sure it's in the right place so that it's makes sense for the town. And the biggest concern about the growth is that we have to make sure we keep the infrastructure growing with the growth. Otherwise, we're just going to get all jammed up here. Um, Another concern would be the protection of the green belt and the Oak Ridge Marine. A lot of people bring that up, and we are 90% regulated. We call ourselves the rain barrel of Ontario. So we're very regulated, but it's great. That's Stouffville. We have to keep the green belt and the Oak Ridge Marine protected, and it's pretty well insisted by the provincial government. But I support that completely.
Great. For what initiatives would you lobby for more funding and why?
More funding. Everybody wants more funding. I guess, first of all, we were lucky enough this term to receive over $15 million from the provincial and the federal government, and that really is unprecedented. Last term, we probably got about $2 million. So a lot of people don't appreciate this year that these grants that we do get from the upper government, and it helps us to build accessible parks. We're doing the new skating trail and to build the infrastructure. So that's one thing that is very important, that I would continue to try and get more funding from them. It's always nice to get money from somebody else. Um, Again, with the tremendous growth we have, as I said, we have to maintain our roads. I know that, as I said earlier, probably 20 years ago when I got here, we went from 21,000 to 55,000, and that's 20 years ago. So now all those roads have to be redone and taken care of and maintained. So we have to put some funding into that on a regular basis. I have a soft spot for seniors. I feel that we don't do enough for seniors. As a country, we don't do enough for our seniors. So I would like to get some more funding for our seniors. And I just met with our seniors at Stouffville 55 Plus Club, and the town has given them more staffing to help the facilities, and we've take I believe it's $20 or $25 fund fee to join the club, and now we've made it zero. We've erased that, so hopefully that will help the more of them to join and participate in the club. So yeah, I got a soft spot for seniors. So.
What's your idea of responsible development in Stouffville?
I think that we have to look at that as long term, where we're going and what we need, and I think we have to have a good mixture. Obviously, condos are a big thing. Everybody wants to move to Stouffville. Everybody wants to build condos. Mr. Ford wants 1.5 million houses built our homes built in the next 10 years, which is, I'm going to say, impossible. There's not enough workers to do that. So I think that we have to continue with our housing development. But at the same time, anything downtown or on Main Street, we make sure that we have all commercial on the bottom. That's extremely important. And I know that we also, as I said earlier, need the commercial taxes. So we have a few things going on here in our smart centers, where the Walmart is, and across the street from that, there's a big explosion going on there. We finally got the official plan amendment from the regional and the provincial government. So we're very anxious and spending a lot of time on that. And just a little tidbit here, Queenie, for you, probably the first time that anybody hears this, is that at our smart centers, we're having a new medical center and a new music store being built. So that's just off the press. So we're quite excited about that. So that's responsible development and expansion, and we have to make sure that we have the jobs that go along with what's needed. It's great to have people live here, play here, and work here. So as I said, out in Hoover Park, which you probably don't know, but the residents do, we have a development going out there that's going to probably bring in about 2,500 jobs and $10 million in corporate taxes, which will change that percentage. So that's what we're looking forward to.
Great. What would you do for small and medium-sized businesses?
Well, small businesses is the backbone of Canada. Probably 85% of jobs in Canada come from small businesses. So we have to do more and more for them. And you hear a lot of times about the GMs and the big companies getting grants and donations from the government and monies that will help them keep people working there. But we don't do enough for the small businesses. Um, they're the ones that work hard, and I know from municipality, they're the ones that donate to the ball teams and to the hockey and contribute lots and help the community out. So they're very, very important. I know that COVID did crazy things for these small businesses. It was so difficult all over Canada, not just Stouffville. So um, we did, I made a motion, for example, that we have the large signing on the side of the road, these roadside signs. And what we did during COVID is that we allowed them to have them free, and we doubled the time that they're allowed to use them because they needed as much help as they could get. And we work with our economic development. We have a downtown working group, and they're working with the small businesses constantly, hoping to get them more grants. And it has worked in a lot of cases where we have got them grants from that. So that's wonderful. Um, Again, the small businesses, we have 60 acres out in, that's going to start to be developed in the next year or so. I've been working with this company for 6 years. Uh, Patience is the key to a lot of this stuff. And like I said, it's going to create a lot of jobs and a lot of small businesses out there. So we need them, and we need them desperately.
This past year, what accomplishments of yours are you most proud of?
I'm most proud of. You have to ask my wife that. No, just kidding. Just kidding you. In Ward 4, we are in the midst of building 97 units, which is affordable housing, which is wonderful. I believe there's a 15,000 people waiting list to get in. 97 sounds so little, but it's a start. And I'm working with the regional government to get the phase 2, which is going to be 200 more units. So I'm quite pleased with that. Um, Over the last year or so, I've worked with businesses in Ward 4, create over 1,000 jobs, which again helps the corporate coffers and reduces the burden on the residents. I've worked a lot with Monchon Bloom, which is long-term and assisted living. We have 600 beds in Ward 4 again, which I'm very proud of. Expanding that out, I guess, with the town, I mentioned before, we got this term $50 million in grants from the upper government, which is a great help to us. We've maintained the tax rate at 6%, which is, I'm sorry, not 6%, the sixth lowest tax rate in the GTA, which is probably about 34 towns and cities, which I think I mentioned. We're working close with York Region and the province to try and get services out in Gormley, which is by the 404. If that happens, it's going to change our town completely. That will create many jobs, and we're estimating about $20 million in corporate taxes. So hopefully that is going to happen in the next year or two and change the town. So that's probably my accomplishments that I'm proud of. If you want me to list them all, I could be here all day. I'm sorry, I'm just kidding. I shouldn't say that. I'm very
No,
pleased with
great,
those. Good, thank you.
great. What would you say to undecided voters?
Vote for me. Um, what would I say to undecided voters? I guess the first thing is vote. Everybody has to vote. You have to check into it. It's a privilege we have that there's people around the world dying to have that privilege, and we take it for granted, and we shouldn't. So I would strongly suggest that you check out each candidate, find them on the website, listen to your recordings here of is there anybody else on here? Have you got all the candidates
Almost
yet?
all the candidates.
Okay, so they should listen to that and read their literature, and ask them, like, where do you live? Are you? Because I know that there's some people that don't live in the ward that's running in the ward, which is a mystery to me. What's your past involvement? I know before I became a councillor, I was on 5, 6, 7 different committees, and I think that you have to be involved to understand what's going on before you become the councillor, and look at the background. And once you do that, it's so important to make sure that you vote. I think that it's also important now. At one time, this should be a classified job, but now it's becoming more than that. And I think that it's important that you look at what they do, if they have a full-time job, and how much time can they give to the town, because time is everything. So, yeah, so just check everybody out and look at the background and then make a decision. And I say once again, please vote. So important. So.
Great. Rick, is there anything else you'd like to say to the audience at Bullet Point News?
Well, I just like to say that I've been doing this for 8 years, and a lot of times when I knock on the doors, I ask them what's the problem in town. They say we love this town, and I say they want to keep it that way, and we hear that. And we went through some turmoil before this before this term, which was unfortunate, but now things have been settled down, and we're moving forward, and we're working with the upper governments, which is a great assistant to us. So I just encourage everybody to vote, and don't hesitate to call me, to text me, to email me if you have any questions whatsoever. I'm here for you.
Great. Thanks so much for your time, Rick.
Thank you, Queenie. I appreciate that so much for doing this. It's helping us communicate better to the residents. So I really, really appreciate it. Thank you.